do want to do one thing. I said I would review Chris's song.
You talking about Turn Up Peace?
I got like a block of comment for like different timestamps that I was gonna like comment. None of it's critical stuff. It's just like it would help anybody in a situation like that. You mind if we replay that bitch and then pause and I'll say like the mental health related to helping people get through X thoughts.
They dropped me a song. I didn't even a review. Look at that.
I got you, King. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. I got your ass.
You didn't have to walk away from me, baby. I need tons of therapy. You gotta think for
Stop here.
shit with me.
Okay, so you didn't have to walk away from me. Maybe I've got tons of therapy. I will need tons of therapy. So sometimes one thing that helps with heartbreak that's a little bit too much for you to intellectually try to process is to take it to a spiritual level. Spirituality says that we're born, we have more than one lifetime. So before we get here, we make contracts with different people to say, hey, look, I'm gonna meet you at this time, this place, yada, yada. I'm gonna learn this from you, or we're gonna do this together. All that stuff happens before we get here. So basically what happens is when you meet somebody that is kind of like a karmic flame is basically somebody that brings out the worst in you. The purpose of that is for you to be able to grow from it, because for whatever reason you weren't able to see it prior to this person. A lot of times what happens is we have these demons that have been building up for a long time, but we're not able to see it till we meet that one person, and that makes it glaringly fucking obvious that, hey, some isn't quite right here. Hey kings and queens, please like, subscribe, and don't forget to press the bell so that you don't miss out on content like this, because it really does help me continue creating more content and spreading this message to help people understand how trauma is affecting them, which in turn changes the world one person at a time. Please and thank you. And that's for me, and that's for anybody, struggling with things like that. And that it's okay to just process it as that's something that you got a learning experience from. That's what it was meant to be. Like, yes, you need tons of therapy to have fixed it. You would have had to have been a whole different fucking person to have made that shit work. Yes, 10 out of 10. My case too. But the fact is we weren't. It was not possible to become a different person without said situation happening. So it's like, well, fuck, which came first, the chicken or the egg, right? It makes it easier to just let it go and just acknowledge it as before you got in this world, you agreed to learn this lesson from said individual. No matter how bad they hurt you, no matter what the fuck they did, you agreed to learn said lesson, and you literally told them, hey, look, I gotta learn this lesson. They said, look, you sure? Yeah, I gotta learn this lesson. Pause this. All right, fucking alcoholic, ain't no shame, I'm just stalling. I want to say that it depends how you're using the alcohol. A lot of people are going to disagree, but it really depends on how you're using the alcohol or how you're using the things that you're stalling with. Are you using it to numb it so you can process it a little bit better? Because that's how I'm doing it. Like, I drink, takes the edge off of things. Now, there's a difference between like doing this to like completely run away from the shit, which might happen at first. That's natural at first too, but you do want to circle back and be like, why'd I feel like this? What were the underlying feelings there? And take time to feel, take time to cry, take time to actually feel all those emotions. And even if you still love them, take time to say, look, I love you and I wish you the best. Don't tell them that, but just wish them the best in your head or whatever. And like validate your experience, study as much as you can about yourself and how to get better for yourself, because the relationship's over. You don't want to study on how you can get better with that person. That could lead to some wild spirals. But mainly study for how you can live a better life without that person, and do it without hate. The reason you want to do it without hate, the reason I say send love and not hate, some people try to wish bad on their partner. Like, good example, my partner did me like dirty as fuck, but like I don't ever wish hate on her, because like I look at it like when you meet somebody you have a soul contract with, that you really have that type of bond with, that person is like an extension of you almost. They represent the things that you also represent. It might be the opposite way. Like, good example is my ex was externally toxic and I'm internally toxic. To hate her is literally to hate myself. So it's like if I send her hate, I'm just sending myself hate. So it's no point in doing that. So So you want to do your best to send out positive energy, because it's easier to heal with positive energy than it is from negative energy. You can't heal when you're saying I hate myself. You can't heal when you're saying I hate other people. It's better to do it from a place of love, the entire thing. And you're not just stalling, it's grief. It goes through in its own time. Just make sure you take it easy on this, as easy as you can, and like stay awesome, brother.
You had options and it's cool, but it's fuck, cause I thought you was the bitch I need. Now I'm walking through the city, finding new hope. Crazy how I snowing on my papers really felt growth.
Pause.
In itself really shaping for me.
Thought you was the bitch I need, walking through this city trying to find a new hoe. It's all external things. You will never find that bitch that makes you feel lovable. I'm gonna take you out of it because you makes it personal. No one can ever find that person, that thing, whoever's watching this, really. Nobody can ever find that person, that thing, that next $100,000, that next ring, that next style, that next, body. Nobody's ever gonna find that next external thing that tells other people to love them. That just doesn't exist. You have to figure out where that void is coming from. Everybody's void is coming from like a different place, maybe a different core injury that makes them look for that external thing to prove and validate their existence. Whenever you're looking to the rest of the world to prove and validate your existence and not realizing it isn't here, you're denying your divinity. You're denying your own godlike qualities, and you're not really stepping into your own truth, because your own truth is always dependent on somebody else. In reality, the only person, or the only bitch that you need really is you. Just like the only bitch that I need is me, and the only whatever the fuck we all need is really in here. All right, just save you some time on the endless search.
Times in the night, I be talking to myself, make it right, yeah. And I'm trying to change my life, do it right, and it's kinda hard to do when my dick filled with spite. How you let your feelings fuck the simple.
All right, stop here. So he's in the night thinking about make it right, but it's kind of hard to do with my dick filled with spite. Well, a spiritual unfolding happens in its own time. It's not something that you can make it right immediately. The reason you can't make it right immediately is because from a physical perspective, all that damage that's done, it's like if somebody took your arm, snapped that bitch in half. If I took your arm and snapped that bitch in half, there ain't no amount of just thinking, even if I bandage that shit up, it's gonna take a lot of time to heal. There's a lot broken there. It's the same with child abuse or child neglect. It's a lot of damage done. So you're not gonna be able to fix that overnight or think and make it right. So take some of the blame off yourself a little bit. Don't get me wrong, you do want to look at it like you are making a conscious choice to end up in X situations, but you don't want to look at it from a super judgmental standpoint. You want to look at it more from a, I'm learning, I'm going to do better. We will not just keep doing the same thing, and give yourself some love along the way.
What the fuck, you so bitter? I got exes in my life causing tension. Haven't spoken years, not a word nor a mention. Fantasizing about my aura, baby, no, I'm too raw. Wasn't seeking recognition, baby girl, just took off. People just gonna think about themselves, that's the way I lie. Too pity be
Draco, come here.
All right, Paul. Pause. Okay, so I want to say to open up my soul, my mind. That's a privileged bitch. Yes, I love the way you said that, because that's really what I'm really teaching on true self. Like the red pill community tells you to cut off your emotions. You shouldn't have emotions, yada yada yada, because whatever the fuck, right? But in reality, that's coming from a dude that got hurt and he kind of just gave up. That's the reality of that situation. I mean, not just that, but he didn't just give up. He internalized those external viewpoints and put them internally. Just because somebody, a good example, right? Like, Marvin, I'm gonna ask you a question. If you bought me like a really nice gift, right? Let's say you bought me a really nice gift that would help my life. Let's say you did that, and I threw it back at you and said, fuck that gift. Like, how would you reply?
You good?
You good? Yeah, you wouldn't internalize it. You know what I mean? You wouldn't internalize it, right? You'd be like, what the fuck? Yeah. So it's the same thing when you get with a chick and she starts giving you shit because you have emotion. It's like, bitch, I'm a gift. Are you good? You keep it moving. You don't internalize. Find you somebody you can actually speak to, talk to. Because honestly, to spend the rest of your life with somebody you ain't aligned with just for the sake of keeping pussy around, that ain't it. All right, I do want to say one more thing. You said something about exes in my phone causing tension. And depending on how that was going about, I would say just get rid of the exes. I do want to say that holding on to old life while trying to step into your new life can cause a lot of tension.
My lowest bitch, come lay with me. If I fuck the real and you find out, will you still stay with me? Always knew that you would leave. You had options and it's cool, but it's fuck, cause I thought you was the bitch I need. Now I walk through the city, finding new hope, crazy how.
He said something really small there. It was like, always knew that you would leave. All the dudes or whatever the fuck. The Red Pill community also teaches you that. In reality, if I were to give you a picture and like it could be a picture of a couple or something, and you tell me what it means to you. In reality, what somebody's telling you is what's going on internally. So everything that somebody says or does or any opinion is always an internal factor brought up externally. So when you project onto somebody that they would leave, then in reality that points back to you thinking that, well, that points back to the other person. And keep in mind, actually, I don't want to make this just a CP, because these are really common issues that a lot of people have. Every single one of these are really common issues. So again, my bad if I say you too much, but a lot of people, they project onto different people their own insecurities on if they're worth keeping somebody around or not. When you have these types of projections and these low vibing energies, you're going to attract people that are also vibing low. And when they are vibing low, they will just leave. Yes, that's 10 out of 10 what's going to happen when you stay in a low energy state. You attract other low energy people, and then those low energy people do find some way to leave. And in some cases, I don't want to blame this all on the other person either, because in most cases, it's both people's fault. When you're both vibing low, you both are doing things to really fuck up that relationship. But at the same time, I mean, even in my case, I would have to say I was doing things. I was enabling her to do a lot of that stuff. But like, it's really dig deep for anybody out there. Dig deep. Don't project onto other people your negative viewpoints. More or less look internally and figure out why you have those viewpoints. If you have a negative projection on somebody, dig deep and figure out why you have that negative projection, because a lot of those negative projections, like a good example, I always knew you would leave, point to you not feeling like you're worth somebody standing around.
Snowing on my papers really found growth. My inner self really shaping for reality. And I don't really crave the fucking cars or the hoes or the cherry though. I just hope myself, find myself, find internal happiness. Peace is well, yeah.
I like that. I just want to find eternal happiness. Peace is wealth. Peace is well. Peace is well. That's what he's saying, right? Peace is wealth. I just caught that. That's fucking genius, dude. Peace is wealth. Yes, peace is wealth. Actually, Chris actually just said what I've been saying all night. Remember how we were talking about those other people throwing out, you know, the money, the bag, the whatever the fuck they have. And in reality, what real wealth looks like is peace. So eternal peace, how can I put it? Peace is that valuable thing everybody is basically looking for in all the wrong places. It is that thing you can never buy with money. Because at the end of the day, if you buy somebody's peace, you get a whole bunch of nice stuff. You surround yourself with all the external things. At the end of the day, if somehow the money did dry up or whatever happened, those people are going to go away. And not just that, like a public opinion could change at the drop of a hat. You could get on the show and say something and get canceled. It doesn't matter. I'm not trying to say a whole bunch of bad things can happen. I'm just trying to say all the other external factors that control the external fact. The external factors, as far as your peace, should be fucking irrelevant. What other people's opinion, let me reframe this. What other people's opinion of how much money you have, how air quotes alpha, whatever the fuck that is, right? Other people's fucking opinions shouldn't have any fucking influence over your eternal peace. You got anything to add on that, Mar baby?
No, you didn't add every bit of information that anybody needs to hear. It's like shit I could say, like, for real.
Yeah, I like that. Just want to find eternal happiness. Peace is wealth. Peace is wealth. Peace is wealth. That's what he's saying, right? Peace is wealth. I just caught that. That's fucking genius, dude. If you like the way I teach about mental health content, like, subscribe, and don't forget to press the bell so that you don't miss out on more content like this. And remember, if you ever find yourself in chaos, it's in that chaos that you'll find yourself, and that no candle loses flame from lighting another. Peace, family.